You pick up a bar of soap with wet hands, and it does something strange. It slides, foams, smells clean, and somehow makes grease disappear. But here's the hidden contradiction. Soap is born from fat. The same greasy substance you try to wash off your skin becomes the thing that removes grease better than almost anything else.
So how does something oily, mixed with a dangerous chemical, turn into one of the most important tools in human hygiene? The answer begins long before factories, long before bathrooms, and long before anyone understood the chemistry happening in their hands. Soap looks ordinary because it lives in ordinary places, beside a sink, in a shower, on the edge of a bathtub, slowly shrinking day after day. But for most of human history, getting clean was not simple. Dirt, sweat, smoke, animal fat, disease, and spoiled food were part of everyday life. Cleanliness was not just about smelling better, it was survival. A bar of soap is really a small piece of controlled chemistry. It is made from fats or oils, transformed by an alkali into molecules that can connect with both water and grease. That is the trick. Water alone cannot grab oil very well. Oil and water push away from each other. Soap steps between them. One side of a soap molecule is drawn to water. The other side is drawn to oil. And that tiny double nature is what lets it pull grime from skin, fabric, dishes, and tools. But people were making soap long before they could explain any of that.
The oldest evidence of soap-like materials goes back thousands of years. Ancient people discovered that when fats were boiled with ashes, the result could clean better than water alone. The ashes mattered because they contained alkaline compounds. The fat mattered because it provided the raw material. At first, this was not the clean, perfumed object we know now. Early soap could be harsh, uneven, foul-smelling, and difficult to control. It depended on whatever fats were available, whatever ashes were burned, and how carefully the mixture was handled. And this is the part most people never hear. Soap did not begin as a luxury beauty product. It came from fire, animal fat, and trial-and-error chemistry. In ancient and medieval workshops, soap making was messy work. Fat had to be rendered. Wood ash had to be leached with water to make a crude alkaline solution. The mixture had to be boiled and stirred, sometimes for long periods, until it thickened and changed. No one could see the molecules rearranging, but they could see the result. The slick fat became something different, something that cut through dirt. Here's where the story changes.
For centuries, soap quality depended on the maker's experience. Too little alkali, and the soap stayed greasy. Too much, and it could burn or irritate the skin. The process was powerful, but it was also unpredictable. Modern soap making solved that problem by turning an old craft into a controlled industrial process. Today, the journey often begins with enormous tanks of oils and fats. These can come from plant oils like palm, coconut, olive, or soybean oil, or from animal fats such as tallow. Each fat creates a different kind of soap. Some make a harder bar, some create more lather, some feel milder on the skin. The oils are measured with precision because the chemistry has to balance. Soap making is not just mixing ingredients, it is a reaction. Then comes the ingredient that makes the whole transformation possible: lye. Lye is a strong alkali, commonly sodium hydroxide for solid bar soap. On its own, it is dangerous. It can burn skin and damage eyes. But when it is used correctly, it reacts with fat and is consumed in the process. That reaction is called saponification. A fat molecule is built from fatty acids attached to glycerol. When lye is introduced, it breaks those fatty acids away and converts them into soap salts. Glycerol, also called glycerin,
is left behind as a useful byproduct. In simple terms, the fat is taken apart and rebuilt. That is the miracle hidden inside the bore.
In large, modern factories, this transformation can happen in heated kettles or continuous reactors. Oils are warmed so they flow easily. The lye solution is added under careful control. The mixture thickens as the chemistry begins. What once looked like oil becomes a heavy, creamy mass. But that wasn't the real problem. Making soap is one thing. Making the same soap millions of times, safely, with the same texture, color, smell, hardness, and lather is something else entirely. After saponification, the soap mass may be separated, purified, dried, and refined. Depending on the manufacturing method, excess water may be removed. The soap can be milled through rollers, breaking it down into flakes or ribbons and making the texture smoother and more uniform. This is where the bar starts becoming the product people recognize. Fragrance may be added, color may be added. Moisturizers, exfoliants, or skin conditioning ingredients may be blended in. But every addition has to behave. A fragrance cannot separate. A color cannot streak. A bar cannot crack, crumble, or melt too quickly in the shower. The soap is then pushed through an extruder, a machine that squeezes it into a long, continuous log. It looks less like a bathroom product and more like clay being forced through a giant press. That long strip is cut into blanks. The blanks are stamped between metal dies, giving each bar its shape, logo, and smooth edges. What began as liquid oil and caustic lye now drops onto a conveyor as a solid bar of soap. It is cleaned up, inspected, wrapped, boxed, and sent out into the world. But the danger never fully disappears from the story. Traditional soap making depends on getting the alkali balance right. If too much unreacted lye remains, soap can be harsh. If the formula contains too much extra oil, the bar can become soft or prone to rancidity. Industrial producers control this with testing, precise formulas, and quality checks. There is also a modern misconception hiding in plain sight. Many things people call soap are not technically soap.
A lot of liquid hand washes, body washes, and beauty bars are made with synthetic detergents, sometimes called syndets. They can be milder, more stable in hard water, and easier to formulate for specific skin needs. Real soap is made through saponification. Synthetic detergents are produced through different chemical routes. That does not automatically make one good and the other bad. It means the word soap has become more cultural than chemical. And the difference matters because real soap has one famous weakness: hard water. In water that contains lots of calcium or magnesium minerals, traditional soap can form insoluble scum. That film on a sink or bathtub is not imaginary. It is chemistry made visible. Synthetic detergents were partly developed because they perform better in these conditions. What happened next solved one problem and created another. Modern cleansing products became more flexible and specialized, but the simple bar of soap remained one of the clearest examples of ancient chemistry still sitting in our homes. So why does it actually work? The answer is shape. Soap molecules are amphiphilic, which means they have two different attractions. One end likes water. The other end avoids water and attaches to oils and grease.
When you rub soap between wet hands, the molecules surround tiny droplets of oil and dirt. Their oil-loving ends point inward, clinging to the grime. Their water-loving ends point outward, facing the water. These tiny structures are called micelles. Once the grease is trapped inside them, water can finally carry it away. That is why rinsing matters. Soap does not make dirt vanish. It packages it so water can remove it. The foam is not the main cleaning force, even though people often judge soap by lather. Bubbles make the process feel satisfying, and they help spread the soap. But the real work is happening at a scale too small to see. On your skin, on a plate, on a piece of fabric, soap is performing the same invisible negotiation. One end holding on to filth,
the other reaching for water. And that tiny trick changed daily life.